Hey, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Shipping department.
It's always so nice and quiet in here.
It is nice and quiet in
I
here.
want to do every segment in the shipping area.
In here. Pop quiz, Matt.
I'm good at these.
Were you good at school?
No.
Okay.
C's get degrees, baby.
C's, they get degrees. So, instead, I'm not going to give you a question.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a statement. Every production process will go as fast as the slowest part of that process. Theory of constraints.
Yep.
So the key to increasing throughput is to identify what is constraining your system and then taking that constraint and making it bigger.
Yep.
What is the constraint at Wyrmwood right now in Massachusetts?
Okay. It's not the finger jointer, is it?
I believe the constraint is the CNC department.
Ah.
So we're gonna go to the CNC department. I'm gonna show you how I'm a process engineer of this, how you think through these problems. The first thing you wanna do is you wanna go there.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense because pretty much everything goes through the CNC department.
Everything goes through the CNC department, and the CNC department you cannot scale with labor. Like, let's say sanding. You could be constrained at sanding, but you can always just get more people with more sanders.
Yeah, sand more.
Sand more. So that's like a soft constraint. Then there's things that are hard constraints. Give us a brief tour of the CNC department.
Let's start with the Celex. So the Celex is basically a single spindle, large bed table. Normally these machines are big in like the cabinet making industry, where you can take a large sheet and make multiple pieces out of it. Not as efficient as our other ones. So then you go to your twin spindle. So that is better for doing small parts like we do with a high production volume, due to the fact they can do 2 spindles at once, but you run out of table room like as if you had with the Celex, where you can run a large piece. So to bring back the large table, you can go to the dual head dual table. So that basically does the same thing as this one, but double the table size. Now if you had to do something that was big like a piece of plywood, you could program those 2 tables to lock together and work in sync. And then we got the monster of a Como. So the Como basically is the exact ×2, but you have 4 spindles to be able to do high volume work. So right now they are running 4 spindles. So if you were to do this job right now in the Celex with 1 spindle and 1 part of the table, you'll only be running 1 set of parts.
Basically just this one on the right.
Just that 1 corner,
Yeah.
1 quadrant we should say.
Yeah.
So high volume would come off of the Como, higher than anything else we have. So at one point, we thought that this was better for us to run ply because we were behind on ply, and this gave us more numbers at the time.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, all plywood should be done on a Celex. Yeah. Because it doesn't make sense to put production on a Celex, especially if you're behind and you're having some constraints. You should run it on a multi-spindle table.
Yeah.
Why do you rob banks?
To get money.
Because that's where the money is.
Yeah.
Right? You rob the bank because that is where the money is. When I'm looking at the CNC department and you're trying to identify bottlenecks, where is the production?
Where's the money?
Where's the money? The Como, that is 4 spindles. That is worth 4 of these machines.
Sure.
I want you to identify what is wrong with this right here.
We're only running 1 table. This side's empty.
You're a production engineer. You're a process engineer. Yay!
Well, in their defense, there's a reason why they're doing that.
Oh, listen. This is not an operational problem. This is a production controls problem. This is bad production planning. This machine is now running at a 50% efficiency.
Yep.
When this machine runs this way, I might as well just like not own one of those machines. To buy this machine new, get it set up with the appropriate tooling, to get it dropped, wired, air, how expensive is it to get this 1 spindle up and running?
$110,000 for the machine, another 20 grand for shipping, rigging, electrical, plumbing, and another 10 grand in tooling.
So how much is that total?
140.
Right? That spindle not running is worth $140,000.
So we could have just run this over here.
It depends why that's only running 1 spindle. Go ahead, Ryan. Why is this only running, like
because that's how many we have left to run, so running 2 spindles would be
correct. But like, can this machine run both?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We ran it full for most of what we had there.
So that's the thing. Production controls fucked up, right? They would run it full if they could.
Yeah.
I think we're not always going to be engaging 2 spindles, but we need to minimize the time at which we are not engaging 2 spindles.
The way I think about it, the way if you state that the CNC department is the bottleneck to the company, if we want to take the company from our current output of about 30 million to 60 million. This is gonna be the department that's the constraint. This department runs 4, 6, 8, 10 spindles. Every time a spindle is not running, you're wasting 10% of the entire company's possible output. That's what sucks about if a machine goes down, which is your problem. There are single machines that if they go down, the entire company stops.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary. And by the way, I don't think Wyrmwood's a weird company. I think a lot of manufacturing companies are like that.
Not a lot of companies have the money to say, all right, it's 300 grand for another ripsaw. Can we have 2? Do we have work for 2?
Yeah.
So they don't do that.
Right. The way I would assess this right now, just to be clear, I think Ryan is doing actually a very good job right now. Because as I've been here, we've been running at 90% capacity. And like a normal CNC department, what is considered like a good capacity utilization rate? How many hours should you be like running at full capacity?
What helps you in CNC is these machines are automated.
Yep.
So if you have it timed right and you have long cycle times, you're gonna have a day that can be 100% efficient.
Yep.
But you gotta factor that you're gonna be probably 85% efficient.
Right.
Like 85% is a good starting point to try to hit. Anything over that is a bonus.
So Ryan right now is winning.
Yeah.
And then his job is to keep winning.
Yeah.
So if this is a bottleneck, we're still running at 90%. Is that extra 10% gonna really open up? Like,
So this is the thing. Let's go look at some math. You love that.
math.
You love that.
Love math.
Let me give you some facts and logic.
Okay.
Here's where we've been fucking up. And again, this is a production controls problem, not an operational problem.
So you implying that there was just another product we should have been running besides those cup holders?
You're very smart. You gotta do 2 things. First, you have to we have to ask, are all spindles created equal? Can all these spindles do all of our products?
No.
They can't, and you know that. So look, yellow and green, these are our single spindle machines. Blue has 2 spindles, orange has 2 spindles, red has 2 spindles. Each checkbox indicates a program that it can run. These are all the different types of things we make.
Jesus.
Yep. But what you'll notice is red, which is our most productive machine, it knows very few things. And orange, which is a very productive machine, knows very few things. Not all our machines know all the programs. And actually they kind of don't need to, but you do need to have the right machines that know the right programs.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna look at here is I'm looking at the programs. This axis, the top axis, is the month of the year, and then populated in here are how many spindle hours that we have on each of these products. I can tell you that when we look at a headphone stand for the entire year, we have 4.7 hours of spindle time on that product.
That's it?
Yeah. Ah, see?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if I go up here, player desk panels, CNC blanks,
Oh.
590 hours.
Wow.
So let me ask you, what machine should the player desk be run on?
On the Como?
Bingo. Does the Como know how to run player desks?
No.
No-mo. They, in CNC, have been flying blind.
Sure.
Right? They just don't know. They've just
Yeah.
been putting, oh, put a program here, put a
Whatever,
program.
whatever machine's open, basically.
Right, right. We've got to make sure that they are fed the correct information so they can get the right products on the right machines, and then we need to get the work to them in volumes where they can run the most efficiently.
Right.
I would love to see all of our CNC operators relaxing all day, sitting in hammocks, watching their machines dutifully running.
Yeah.
I'll show you something that's interesting also. We actually have all the information now to tell whether or not CNC is going to be a hard bottleneck because we have the total spindle time. If you do an analysis of the total spindle time, we roughly need to run 500 spindle hours a month.
How many hours in a month?
Look how smart you're getting. Exactly. Yes, 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 yes. 10 spindles running 16 hours. That's 160 hours, spindle hours. And we do 4 days a week.
So we should be able to handle a month's worth of work in basically a week.
If we were doing it properly, yeah. So that number, that spindle time, that does not assume unload reload, which some machines do have, what do they call it when there's 2 tables? What do they call it when there's 2 tables? Two tables. There's a word for it.
Parallel processing?
There we go. Yes, parallel processing. So if you have parallel processing, you actually don't have a load-unload time. Because it's running this table while you load this table, and then it will cut this table while you unload and reload the other table. Then there's also preventive maintenance you have to run. There's like a warm-up process, and at the end of the night, there's a like clean-up process. So there's a bunch of stuff, and then there's breakdowns. But if we have 160 theoretical spindle hours, we should be fine. So.
Hey, you fucked up.
What did I do this time?
You told CNC or didn't tell CNC the right thing to run.
Yeah, that makes sense. What did I do? We've been fucking up for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about an instance. No, this is a pattern.
These are all just fuck ups?
Yes. Yeah, these are all of the things I did wrong.
Nice.
Within the hour.
Just today.
Identify the bottleneck, expand the bottleneck. Oh, the bottleneck moved. Expand that bottleneck. Oh, the bottleneck moved. Just iteratively over and over and over again.
Ball S, working on a new one. Yeah. Dude, I saw the shape's killer. You posted that you were pumped about how this one's coming out.
Yeah, Thunderbird. I've always wanted to make one, and it's for a customer, so it's gotta be perfect.
Way.